It is now time for us to move ahead to our next dignitary who's going to be taking the dais. Somebody who has a distinguished background in the Indian Administrative Service. He's the one who brings expertise in the public administration, financial governance, and policy implementation. At NSE, he contributes to strengthening India's capital markets through strategic oversight and regulatory coordination. His leadership reflects a strong commitment to transparency, market integrity, and sustainable financial development. Please join me in welcoming, ladies and gentlemen, the Senior Vice President at NSE, Mr. Krishnan Iyer. Let's give him a warm round of applause. And whilst as everyone's in the room, we'd also like to announce that the Ruby Hall has begun for a masterclass with Credible. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Respected Dr. Shrikanta Panigrahi, Director General IIST, our chief guest, Shri Anant Narayan, former whole-time member SEBI, Shri Sandeep Parwal, MD and CEO SPA Capital Services, distinguished guests, policymakers, industry leaders, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you. It is indeed an honor to be here at the 5th edition of Connect Future Ready Leaders, Viksit Bharat. I congratulate N-Cube Collaborations and all partner institutions for fostering this dialogue. We meet at a moment where India's ambitions are no longer just aspirations. They're consequences of a collective action. The vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 is not merely about becoming a large economy. It is about becoming a more productive, more resilient, more inclusive, and more institutionally sophisticated economy. And in this national journey, capital markets are not peripheral. They are core economic infrastructure of a rising nation. Over the last 3 decades, India's capital markets have undergone a profound transformation. From fragmented manual systems, we've moved to a fully electronic, nationwide, real-time market ecosystem. Today, India is one of the largest capital markets in the world, and the market capitalization of NSE-listed companies is over US 5 trillion. This is approximately 130% of our GDP, compared to about 35% of the GDP in mid-1990s. From fewer than 250 listed companies in 1995, we have now close to 3,000 main board listed companies accessing a transparent and rule-based capital market. This does not cover the MSMEs, which would be about 710, and they've mobilized about 22,000 crores as of date. This is not just a story of market expansion. This is a paradigm shift in the way India finances its development, from a largely bank-driven model to a more diversified and market-oriented model of financing. Equally important is the democratization of participation. Today, India boasts over 12.5 crore distinct investors in the securities market. Individuals and mutual funds together account for nearly 1/5 of the total market capitalization, the highest in over the last 2 decades. The mutual fund industry has grown several times over the past decade, marking a gradual shift of household savings from physical to the financial domain. The financialization of savings is not just a market phenomenon. This is a macroeconomic imperative, and for a country like India with ambitions of its size, a deep and stable domestic source of long-term capital financing is a necessity for sustained growth. From a policy point of view, this assumes an even greater importance when we examine the investment requirements of our next decades. To achieve the vision of Viksit Bharat, India must support high growth over a long period and increase its investment rate of around 30% of GDP to nearly 35% of the GDP. Such a level of investment cannot be financed through bank credit alone. Capital markets must assume a larger role in capital formation. Over the last few decades, NSE has been able to facilitate the mobilization of tens of lakhs of crore rupees through equity and debt markets. In the last year alone, market enabled the mobilization of more than 19 lakh crores, out of which 15 lakh crores was for debt and about 4 lakh crores was for equity. This happened through 200 IPOs, which occurred in the last financial year. This marks a paradigm shift towards market-driven financing in Indian economy. However, size is merely a prologue. The next act is about depth, diversity, and resilience. Currently, the corporate bond market in India is 16% of the GDP, which is far below global standards. If India is to finance its infrastructure, energy, urbanization, and industrialization, it is imperative that the corporate bond market be strengthened to the tune of 30 to 35% of our GDP. This is not merely a desirable goal, it is a national financing necessity. Equally important is the mobilization of long-term domestic institutional capital. We must channel more pension and insurance funds into productive assets. This is the patient capital that India needs for long-term sustainability. Channelizing this long-term capital into equities, bonds, and infrastructure assets within a risk framework will be essential to ensure high growth and financial stability. At the heart of this is trust and governance. Capital markets can support a development agenda only if they are based on robust regulations, sound market infrastructure, high quality disclosures, and effective enforcement. The increasing retail participation in India is a testament to the credibility that has been established through regulation and institutions over the years. As we scale, our focus must shift from protection to preparation. We are moving from a regime that simply protects participants to one that prepares them through financial literacy and product suitability. Today, our market infrastructure is of global proportions, processing billions of messages and converting them into millions of trades on its busiest days. Technology from AI to advanced analytics has propelled us to global heights. But with this power comes the responsibility of cyber resilience. We will continue to innovate, but our governance must remain disciplined. Market integrity is not an obstacle to growth, it is a precondition for it. In conclusion, capital markets are more than trade venues. They're building blocks of a nation. They determine how effectively we convert the sweat and savings of citizens into the infrastructure of the future. The development of India's capital markets has been quite remarkable over the last 30 years. Viksit Bharat 2047 will be built on consistent policy, ethical governance, and the relentless pursuit of depth. Let us move forward with the knowledge that our markets are not just funding companies, they are funding the future of a prosperous, resilient, and globally competitive Bharat. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, please to encourage with a big, big round of applause as our leadership is here amongst us. And of course, truly representing various organizations, we're getting the blend of knowledge, which I'm sure a lot of us can take a value from. So thank you so much, Mr. Krishnan, on that. And as the conversation continues at the 5th edition of Connect Future Ready Leaders, Viksit Bharat at 2047,